So to explain what we're going to see, I kind of have this lab set up, and we want to simulate the environment where we have a network for a company, and that's going to be the side of the topology. So it's kind of, we have two sites. We have the main site here on the left and a branch remote site here on the right. And so essentially, for those who are familiar with Checkpoint solution, it is made of gateway, firewalls, a management server, and a piece of software that we install on a Windows computer called Smart Console. And this is what we're going to refer to as the headquarter or the main site. And from this main site, we want to access this PC remotely. Now, this PC is on the other side, and they also have a gateway firewall, and it is Checkpoint as well, and is being managed by this management server. We're not going to talk, we're not going to change anything on the remote site. What we have is this server being announced kind of the internet, and we're going to access remotely this site or this PC on two services, mainly HTTP and FTP, just to simulate how we would access a web server, or if we were to send files using FTP protocol. Okay, so that's the main idea with this topology. And same applies whether we would be using any other type of channel. But it is going to make it easier to understand just using these two protocols. So what is data leakage? What is the problem, first place? So data leakage, it's essentially when someone in a company at your house, right, is able to take data, take the information you have without being authorized. Uh, that's what it is. So inside the companies, let's say everyone here works at IT, no one works at HR department or finance department. So let's say that you go to HR department and you see the information about your colleagues, right? And you're able to send that to your personal email, or you're able to copy that information to a USB stick, and you find a way to take that information that you're not authorized to just outside of the company. So that's data leakage, and this can cause many harms to a company. Anyway, there are many reasons and many problems that can arise just by doing that. So that's data leakage. Is it often? Does it happen in real life? Yes, it does. And it's just happening all the time. And the latest one was this month. I don't know if you guys heard about, but again, in Pentagon. So for those who don't know, it is the entity where the Minister of Defense, most precisely the Department of Defense of the United States, the guys who worry about the war, military operations, this kind of stuff. Yeah, so someone managed to leak the documents, and some of the documents related to the war happening in Russia, Ukraine, and a lot of more information in there that normally they refer to as intel. So that's intelligent information. And this person took that information and shared on the internet, supposedly on social networks such as Discord and a lot of different sites. Now, there is a lot happening right now. Anyway, the point is, this happens. It doesn't matter the size of the company. It doesn't matter which type of country. It's just happening. Companies, they often use some mechanism to prevent this, but for those who work in security, security is not one solution that solves all the problems. It's multi-layered solutions just to make things harder but it's just a matter of time until something really happens, and is when it happens, just happens, okay? And so that's what happened. This guy, he was able to leak sensitive information from the Department of Defense in the US. So how can we prevent that? What is the option that we have? So Checkpoint, it has this solution called as data loss prevention. So what they're trying to achieve is to prevent users inside the network to send sensitive information to outside of the network. And there are different ways a company might prevent that from happening. For instance, you could disable people from using USB stick on their computers. This is an option. And there are other options for that. Checkpoint also provides endpoint security. But at the network level, this is what we can do. We can say, okay, users or resources at this network, as long as they are identified, they are allowed or not to send this type of document, to send this type of, let's say, object outside of the network. So first, we have to create our boundaries, our limits on what we refer to as our organization, our network. And then what's not inside our network, we can say, okay, this is the outside and this is not secure. So you kind of have two zones, two places where you have, okay, this is the safe zone and this is not the safe zone. And you want your information that you're trying to keep from not leaving the safe zone. And that's what DLP does on Checkpoint. So it's going to monitor which type of data is being sent across the gateways. So if it's in the same network, obviously the gateway won't be able to detect. So it has to be traffic that is being sent through the gateway. Okay, so this is a summary, high overview of what it is. So we have data leakage. So that's when someone's trying to extract information that he wasn't supposed to outside the company. We prevent that using DLP. Now, Checkpoint, they have two similar solutions of features that we can use. And it is data loss prevention that we're going to see in a moment, and also content awareness. Now, these two features, they kind of do the same thing, but in different ways, and they give different options. For instance, with content awareness, you can do things like, okay, I'm going to allow you to download PDF, but I won't allow you to upload PDF. So you can be restricted as like the direction of the traffic, and also like at the content. If you're sending an email and it has this type of information, meaning like your name, it has the social security numbers, the Visa card, MasterCard. If it has this type of information inside the email, that email can't cross the gateway. So I'm going to deny that. And I can create this type of policies and combine with data loss prevention. So let's first see how it is working before we make the changes. So I'm going to bring the browser now. And the PC on the remote side should be on 6576.2, I believe. Okay, so it's available. So this is just listing the directories on the other PC. And I have a folder here where we're going to place the documents that we want to remove from the side networks. And we can see, okay, I'm able to access this web server normally, and I'm going to use this software. This is FTP client, so I'm going to use, I have FTP running on the server as well. So the IP is 6576.2. So I'm going to use this username. So I'm connected to the server, and we can see the directory leaked documents. It's empty right now. So let's say that this is normal. Okay, the company allows me to do that, and I can send, let's see, clients. I can send files. I can send, let me see, which is our, go to downloads. Let's go to downloads. I can send PDF. I can send Excel files. What else? Even zip files I can send. Do I have zip files here? Yes, even compressed files. So I can send them. Okay, let's refresh and check on the other side. So let's go to home and leak documents. So I have them here. We can open. So it was sent. All good. Okay, so that's normal. So we want to prevent that from happening. Okay, so our internal policy says, okay, no one is authorized to send documents outside the company. So I'm going to deploy this. Let me refresh this and just close. Okay, how are we going to enforce this? So the rules I have in place are very basic ones. For instance, we have, this is the local network, right? 10.65.74, and is allowing to access any destination on these services. So we have HTTP, HTTPS, and FTP. So just going to focus essentially on these two. So it is allowed. And on the remote side, we also have basic rule, right? So we're allowing any source to reach that server on this port. So this is allowing inbound traffic. So it's working so far. Now let me enable this. So checkpoint, for whatever feature we want to use, we have to enable the software blade. Okay, so let's going to enable data loss prevention. So here we have to type the we have a domain name. This is most useful in case we are using email, because recall, we can apply this to look at the email. So just going to leave it default, and we can enable a portal for self-healing. But we're not going to do this. We're just going to keep very simple. We're just going to enable for actually just FTP and web. Okay, so that's created. That's enabled. Now, at this time, the gateway doesn't do anything. So we just enable the feature. Okay. Now, for whatever change we make on Smart Console, we have to send this change to management server, and management server is going to deploy that to the gateway. For those who are somewhat familiar with checkpoint solution, that's how it works. So as you can see, it says that there is some changes to be published. So I'm going to install a policy. So before installing the policy, first it's going to publish the change. So it's going to take a moment, and I want to disable policy acceleration. It's just a feature that allows the management server to install the policy faster. So instead of looking all the changes made on the policy, so it's just going to validate what are the latest changes, and that's the ones I'm going to apply. Okay, and it was installed successfully. So far, enable the feature and installed on the gateway and on the management server. Now we have to say, okay, what is going to be the policy? What are we going to allow? What are we going to prevent? So we have this option here, DLP, and we have to open another client, that's Smart Dashboard. And Smart Dashboard, it is a different application where we used to deploy all the policies on Checkpoint, but now they're kind of moving away from this software and sending all the features to Smart Console. So We can still have some options here like data loss prevention, anti-spam, mobile access, HTTPS inspection. Although I believe HTTPS inspection is already in Smart Console. So here is where we can create or organize the policy. So there are some already in place, but by default, it's just going to detect. Okay, so if someone tries to do something, the gateway will just say, okay, I'm looking at it. Okay, I can see what you're doing. No problem. Take your time. Okay, so we don't want the gateway to detect. We want the gateway to prevent. Okay, so right here, we're going to create a new rule. And you can see the rules here, they have to be a source. They have to be, they must have a destination, the protocol, exceptions, action. But here, we don't say the name of the rule. Here we say, okay, what do we want to detect? And let's start with PDF. Okay, let's say that I want to prevent PDF from leaking. So, okay, this is just the type of document I'm going to look at. So PDF, okay. What is the source? And if we open, this is an object. This is a kind of the language on Checkpoint. So I'm saying anything behind the internal interface on my gateway. So everything that I consider to be the safe zone on my gateway to all users, to all VPN traffic. So traffic initiating from this source is going to be, let's say, evaluated, and the destination outside of my organization. So instead of saying outside of my organization, I'm just going to say, okay, to any destination. Okay, I don't care where it's going. So people are not allowed to send PDF files no matter what. And I'm just going to leave the protocol as it is, and the action I'm going to change to prevent. Okay. Now, I also have to organize by category. So I'm going to select here as best practice, okay? And it's going to move here at the bottom. And we can organize these like drag and drop. Can I do this? Oops, no, that's not what I want. Suppose I could drag and drop these. Okay, let me add another one. I can adjust this later. Okay, so the other one should be, let's say, for instance, txt files. Okay, so I'm going to add this, and it's going to be my organization to any protocol, and I want to prevent. Okay, a seed. And I'm going to add another one, a new rule, let's say for CSV files. And let's open this CSV and CSV files. Okay. And also we want to change this to be any destination, and we want to prevent. So we have CSV, we have text, we have PDF, and let's say I probably have also Visa cards there. So let's take a look at PCI. That we have PCI. Let's see, card holder date. Okay, so if it finds this information, I want to prevent that as well. And let's change this here and prevent. Okay. Now I'm going to change the categories. I can leave that because I want them to be evaluated first. So I'm just going to say none. Okay, so I want them to be at the top. And here, I want to say this is very critical for my business. So obviously in a production environment, we don't just enable, right? Normally there should be a department, a security department in charge for this. They're going to kind of provide the recommendations as to what should be enforced or not. And we created the policies. Now we have to save them. As I was saying, so normally the network team, depending on the company, is not up to the network team to make these changes. Or sometimes they can make the changes based on the recommendations from the security team. So I did all the changes required on Smart Dashboard. So now I can close these, and I have to get back to Smart Console and send these changes to Benjamin's server and to the gateway as well. So there's a warning here. Data loss. What's the problem? Okay, let me install this and then check what is the problem. Why is it complaining? So this is where we can get more info about the gateway. So license status. Why is it complaining? Doesn't say what is the problem. Okay. Doesn't say what is the problem because there is no problem. Okay, let's refresh this and bring FTP client again. And let's create a new session, FTP. And remote IP is 76.2. The username is Kali, so I'm just going to use the default one. Okay, FTP is still working. Now leak documents. So we had zip files, bam, and was rejected. So immediately it was rejected. I can say, okay, so let me just retry that. Not. So what if I skip? Okay, yeah, it was sent, but look at this, 0. Okay, it's empty. So probably just because this is a zip file, right? So let's try with another one. Let's try with txt, denied. And the cool feature about this is that we can send a notification to the end user and also send an email, okay, to the admins, like this person is trying to do this, so that the administrator gets notified. So we'll not allow if I skip, okay, probably went through, but the site's 0 KB. Okay, so what about CSV? Now let's go grab CSV. So we have PDF, again, denied. If I skip, hey, 700. Oh, that's okay. So probably is not working at all. What about CSV? Not allowed. Okay, if I skip, okay, it was sent. Okay, so it looks like it's working. We're going to confirm in a minute. So let's say if I want to send this file, that's CSV, but I changed it to have exe extension. So it looks like this is a software. Okay, if I try to send, deny. Okay, probably it's working. So let me try another one. It looks like it's working, and it's working very well. So let me see, party, it's 3 mega. Yeah, let's try with party. If I try to send, okay, party, that's okay. Okay, that's no problem, right? Because we're not denying software, exe files. Okay, so if I refresh this, looks like it's okay. Now let's confirm this. Okay, so this is Linux. We don't have refresh. If I open, let's say, so this should be zip file, and look at this, 0 bytes. What about PDF? Is damaged. Okay, although it says, okay, this is 700 KB, but it's damaged. We can't open, it's corrupted. What about this one? Empty. Okay, what about this one? Empty. And this one? Empty. Okay, but the software, yeah, it's here. Okay, so it's working, and it's working as it's supposed to. So we say, okay, what do we want to filter? We apply the policy, we apply the direction, source, destination. Can we monitor this? Yes, we can. If we go to logs and monitor, not you, firewall, and let me refresh this. Okay, let's see what's happening. And let's start probably with you. That should be okay. Let's see what it says, the log. Okay, so let's take a look. So this happened today on this gateway. So this, let me see, it didn't update, but this is not the name any longer. What time is it? 5:37. Okay, this is log. Okay, what happened? So this document, this file, okay, it hit our rule PCI cardholder data. So if we take a look at the content of the document, let me show you so that you guys can have an idea of what is complaining. So he's looking inside the document and he was able to notice, wait a minute, there is a Visa card, MasterCard information in there. So I'm detecting the content of the document. So it's not only the type of document, but also what's inside the document. And that's very powerful. And okay, it detected, of course, oh, look, there is this type of information in there. So we have to stop it, okay? And who initiated this? This is the source. And this is the protocol or the service. And this is the destination. Okay, and what was the action? Prevent. Okay, how was he trying to access that resource? So he initiated an FTP session and he went to this directory and he was trying to upload this file. Okay, so PDF. Okay, so this is the document. Okay, because it is PDF. Okay, look, you have sent a message which does not comply with the company policy. Again, very easy to implement, very straightforward. Let's see if we can take a look at the data. No, I can't fetch. Okay, no problem. Anyway, we know where he was trying to send the documents to. Okay, and this we can also have more in-depth about the logs. So it's working. That's DLP in its essence. What about EXE? So we were able to send an EXE file. So how can we prevent that? Should we? Can we? Now, this is where things start to get a little more interesting, is that with DLP, I'm going to show you, we can say the type of data. We can say if it's source, if it's destination, but we don't have a way where we can like specify, or look, if it's upload, that's okay. If it's download, that's not okay. Or if I want to use some restriction as to how much one person should be allowed to send during the day. So we don't use that, or at least we can find this here using DLP. But let me show you how we would prevent that using EXE. So if I were to add a new rule, okay, if I were to add a new rule, and here, let's see, EXE. So we can also filter executable files. If we were to deploy with EXE files, we can do that as well. But as a bonus, I want to show you how we can do this, but using the other feature, and I'm going to discard this, using the other feature, and that's content awareness. And content awareness is as powerful as DLP, and it's just different scenarios, different use cases where you would want to enable one or another. So we're going to first enable the blade. Okay, so it gives visibility to the policy. So it's just a fancy way of saying, okay, we can also look at the type of data And let's say we want to prevent people from, let's say, downloading, because at this moment, if I have this browser exe, if I want, I can download to my PC. See, I can download to this PC, and we're not supposed to do that. So we want to prevent that from happening. So how can we do that now? And this is going to be really an extra bonus. So we can do this in different ways. Because I'm using HTTP to access that content, I'm going to use a feature that is referenced as inline layer in Checkpoint. Is that instead of having another policy inside this policy, I'll create an inline layer. So I have another layer inside this layer, and just name it content awareness. And here I say, okay, what are the blades or the software that I want to enable in this layer? So I'm just going to select content awareness. Okay, I'm going to save this. And okay, now I have like sub rules inside the rules. And that's very cool. So first thing I want to do, because I often forget this, is to make this accept. What's going to happen is when the gateway will be analyzing the rules, it's going to start from the top to bottom. So, and I want that if when he gets to this rule, if this doesn't match, I don't want him to discard. I want him to continue and only be discarded by this main cleanup rule. And cleanup rule, it is just used to discard all the traffic that we don't allow explicitly. Okay, so I'm going to enable log for this. And I'm going to add a rule above this one. And I don't care about the source. I don't care about the destination. The services, I don't care any, because this is going to hit this rule already. Now, but I do care about the content and also the direction. So let's see if I can find exe executable files. Okay, and look, we have here any direction. So no downloads, no uploads, anything should be denied, and I want to drop that. Okay, and probably send me a log as well. Okay, so again, first save. We can do this manually, save, and then install the policy on the gateway. So see this warning. I'm still related to DLP, no problem. And it's going to do fast installation. And we're going to try to use the same for HTTP and FTP. So let me refresh this. No, I didn't delete. Just delete. Okay, so it was installed successfully. Okay, let me just refresh this now. Can I download this file? Let's see. Doesn't look like. Okay, so let me do it again. Nope, not working. Okay, so what about, let's see, TXT? Can I download? Yep, I can. That's okay, because I don't have any policy that prevent me from downloading TXT files, right? Okay, so it's working. Okay, let's see, what can we find in the logs? So should say something related to exe, and let's see, and that's HTTP. Which one? Probably this. Look, this one. Okay. So let's see. It happened today. The blade is content awareness, data type, executable file, source, okay, destination, the number of files, the rule, and we're going to look at the rule in a moment, and it provides a description of what happened. Okay, so first, what was the rule? Okay, and this is the rule. Okay, so first it was a match on the main rule and 4.1 content awareness rule base. So it was dropped. What was the file? Okay, can I see the file? Yes, I can. I can see the file. I can see what the person was trying to do. He was trying to download the file, file type, file size. So I have a lot of detailed information of a security breach or someone trying to breach the security. Okay, so it's working on this side. Now, what about if I try to send using FTP? If I try to send FTP, like I think it was PuTTY. Okay, it was sent. Looks like. Okay, and if we go to Kali, I have the file here, and that's what I want to share is that sometimes one policy isn't good enough, and you kind of have to adjust, twist, optimize the rules and the policies you want to use to mitigate or to enforce the policy that you want to enforce inside the company or even at home. And we can see it's not working because it should be dropped, right? So because that's EXE. And if we look at, should see FTP. Should be FTP. Can we see FTP here? No, I want to see FTP because let's refresh this. So probably it is using an existing session just because. Terminate, yes. Let's try once again. And FTP and 165.76.2 Kali. Okay, I'm inside leaked documents. Let me try again. That's PuTTY. Okay, and I'm able to send. Anyway,